Yeah. So, Mr. Anshu Gupta, who is popularly and very fondly known as the Clothing Man, is the recipient of 2015 Ramon Magsaysay Award. Mr. Anshu Gupta has done mass communications twice and has a master's in economics. Starting as a freelance journalist, Anshu left a corporate job in 1998 and founded Gunj with a mission to make clothing a matter of concern and bring it among the list of subjects to work on for the development sector. I would like to very warmly welcome Anshu to Vedika.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And of course, I would like to share a short film that Anshu has requested to share with all the scholars. Just give me a second. Yeah.
सुनो, हमने तो कभी नहीं कहा कि जिन मकानों में तुम बसे हो वो हमने बनाए हैं। हमने तो कभी नहीं जताया कि गाड़ियां दौड़ती हैं तुम्हारी जिन सड़कों पर वो हमने बिछाई हैं। हमने तो कभी बोला ही नहीं कि जिस रिक्शा में तुम बैठते हो वो हमारे फेफड़े खींचते हैं। मैं जानता हूं ढूंढ रहे हो मुझे उस बंद नाली को खोलने के लिए, वो फैक्ट्री की बेजान मशीनों के लिए, रात को जागते रहो की आवाज के लिए, गाड़ी पर जमी मिट्टी को धोने के लिए। और मुझे पता है बाबूजी को मेरे हाथ के ही गोभी के पराठे पसंद हैं। तुम्हें बर्तन धोने से कितनी कोफ्त है। हम तो अब भी सोचते हैं फिर जाने क्यों दिया, क्यों छोड़ा सड़कों पर, क्यों बस और ट्रेन बंद थी, लाठियां क्यों चली हम पर, क्यों चले हम हफ्तों तक भूखे प्यासे। हमने तो कभी नहीं कहा कि हम सिर्फ काम पर याद आते हैं। हमने तो ना स्कूल मांगे, ना सड़क, ना गाड़ियां, ना पक्की छत। फिर एक बार इशारे से फोन करके आवाज देकर रुका तो होता इस अनचाहे सफर से पहले।
Wow. Thank you so much, Anshu, for sharing that film with all of us. And we're extremely excited, and as I've said, extremely humbled that you are here with us because the work that Gunj is doing right now in this crisis and the work that you have done with Gunj in past years have been extremely inspiring for each one of us. And we're looking forward to the session to examine what we as individuals can do in this time, and of course the role of development sector, what it is going through, what are the changes it will see in the coming times, and a lot more things that I would like to discuss with you. So very warmly welcome to Vedika, and I would like to pass the virtual mic to you now.
Thank you. And hello and namaskar to all. And I'm just wondering whether it's a good idea to speak in English or Hindi. Anyone here who does not understand Hindi?
There might be few
You might
of
be
our
free. So
scholars not very comfortable with Hindi.
not a problem, not a problem. So I'll take care of it. So I think my next half an hour, 45 minutes or 1 hour, I don't know how long it goes. It all depends on you guys, how much you participate and how much you ask at the end of the day, fine? Because I'll speak for some time and then I'll leave it on you guys. And I think the only promise I make to people is that my session is not going to be simple, it's going to be very disturbing. I mean, that's a promise. And I'm here to disturb. And I'm if you think that I'm pessimist, you're wrong. At the end of the session, I'm absolute optimist. Parle Raje ke optimism wale log hain. I think that is why we keep doing something. Lekin it's extremely important to come back to the realities of life and maybe that is the reason they suffer, what we just showed you for 2 minutes. It was a very last minute decision because Meena suggested, my colleague, and that's how it just happened. In the last, I think, 10 minutes, maybe share. And that's how it worked. And this is and it worked well. And this is basically a series which I started writing when this entire migration started happening. And because uh, and then I went through myself the COVID journey for almost 26 days, confined, and then a lot of other complications later on. We'll talk about it because that's also an important subject right now. And that became a very painful phase to see people walking, to to see people beaten up, and then on the other hand, you find yourself in a comfortable, nice house inside, uh, 24/7 electricity or inverter. Your Zoom is on. Zoom was a new discovery for the world. Even Zoom didn't know that it is so important. You know, so Zoom also discovered maybe itself, and we all discovered Zoom. And we were pretty comfortable. We were pretty comfortable not going out because the milk was coming, everything was coming. Even when I was down with COVID, I had a lot of colleagues, lot of friends, lot of well-wishers. Despite a lot of restrictions, they were taking permissions and delivering whatever I wanted. Right? And I was privileged to pay some extra rate also if the e-commerce side were charging extra, I was giving extra. If the chemists were charging extra, I was giving extra. I also had a separate room for myself, right? At least I could afford that in that house, and maybe an attached toilet. And then I started thinking about those 13 people uh, whom I met. And I mean, when we tracked, the entire thing about COVID, and then we realized that maybe I got it from them, or if I say it in another word, they also got it from me. So I was confined, I recovered, and those 13 people from Saharsa, Sitamani, Gorakhpur, they were walking from Delhi, and some people came from outside Delhi to Delhi, and then they started walking. Some of them, we had the numbers, we could trace them, but all of them were from different families, different areas. We couldn't trace them, we couldn't track them. Right? And I kept thinking that what happened to them? Was there a treatment for them? How many people were in touch with them in that entire journey of walking or train or bus or truck, whatever way they must have reached, and if at all they have reached. I don't even know that, whether all of them have reached. So that was a time when I was really hoping as an individual uh, that maybe the society is changing because a large number of individuals and NGOs uh, really responded very well. These were those beautiful individuals who were cooking, in the morning, 6 o'clock, in multiple cookers and bagonas and pans and trying to feed as many people as possible. And there were a large number of people who were sitting and chatting on Facebook and Twitter. Uh, and I also felt that maybe at one level the society really operated very well because we responded to the hunger crisis. Uh, and on the other level, there were two major failures, and these are extremely important before I start, my other discussion. One is that every single person who made house for me, I found that person homeless, and I found that person walking on the road. The people who made our houses, made our companies, who were making every single thing which we were using that time, they were left unattended. Biggest possible companies, biggest possible governments, and the contractors at the end of the day cheated them. That's the right word. Whether people want to listen to it or not, or accept it or not, but that's the right word. I kept thinking that what forced those people to walk. How many people walk? I mean, people like us don't even go to the nearby mother dairy without our cars. How can a family really think in a few hours, sell, leave whatever they have, pick up their kids and some little belongings, and start walking to an unknown territory where they only know that there is a village in a district called Madhepura in Bihar, where how to go they don't know. They only knew that there are some trains by which they used to go earlier, which are not working right now, which are stopped. They only knew that there are some 3 4 buses and mix of certain things they used to take, and they also knew this time that these are not working right now. They didn't have enough money to walk. They didn't know how many hours, how many days, how will this old lady walk or how will this little kid walk, but they still walk. So it was, I consider it a huge thappad or a tamacha or a slap on us, people like us. And I'm very upfront on this. I know a lot of people don't like these conversations because these are not comfortable conversations. Right? If someone is, if I'm challenging my status quo, it's not comfortable. I want to remain in my arrogance, my education, my good clothes, my good house, and my good, nice thinking process. How can someone say that someone really slapped me by walking? But do we understand that it was complete deficit of trust? That's one major loss which we had in the society, and we realized that on what fabric do we stand? On one part, we are now dividing ourselves in Hindu, Musliman, Dalit, non-Dalit, what not, and on the other part, whether it is a Dalit, non-Muslim, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, it is also the people who have money and the people who do not have money. So the second realization was that people who have been growing dal chawal for me for years, they were actually standing in a queue to and waiting for some food to happen. How complicated and how sad it was and it is. I mean, imagine we all very proudly call ourselves donor and call them beneficiaries without understanding that maybe we gave them 5 kg, 10 kg of rice and dal, and we are calling them beneficiary because right now they are beneficiary. But this is happening because we actually forgot that for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever our age is and whatever the age of our parents, we are the constant beneficiaries of those people. They're constantly supplying us. I mean, one example, one sentence which I say in almost every such session is that I go and because I'm fond of t-shirts and kurtas and whatnot, uh, and I go and buy a kurta for 1,000 2,000 rupees from the biggest possible, the cotton stores of India. We all know various names for that. And imagine the same cotton farmer actually commits suicide. And those 10, 15,000 people, which are 10,000 families, that way, there is a suicide case there and it's not in news. So there is something fundamentally wrong. Second important part, which was a realization and which we all need to really understand, uh, is that entire divide in that society, entire thought process of I want to live, I want other people to survive. I was thinking that it will change, but when I found the data of the house help who were left on the roads and which were largely working with the middle class families and the middle class families of India, uh, who think a lot good about themselves, rightly so, because they've really progressed well, uh, and they couldn't take care of even one or two of their house help. Because of them, they became middle class, and because of them, all of us are really enjoying our life. So we are not even able to really support 2,000, 3,000 rupees worth of ration to people. Because my only regret is that the number of people who were on the road, there were much larger number of people than them who were inside the houses and were living the secured life. If instead of some of us, lot many people participate, there's no doubt about it. But if instead of just those many people, if this country at large would have participated, such kind of disaster would have happened. A health crisis, would have remained health crisis plus, some poverty, but not such a huge displacement crisis. And I am saying that what about the dignity of people? So we were actually running a campaign called I'm a migrant too. And a lot of people had objections on that. I said, so it be. I mean, if you have objections, That's your problem. I don't have an objection because I understand I am a migrant. I migrated from Dehradun, to do my mass communication when I came to do my IMC, right? And the only difference is that I am a privileged migrant. I was not that privileged that time. Fine. I was still roaming around on a scooter. It was not that easy. I was looking for the cheapest possible food. वो 10 रुपए का जो दिल्ली में नान का थाली आता है और छोला कुलचा, I mean that is something I've tested or I've eaten everywhere because that is the money which was available. Right? But I was privileged in a sense that my migration was by choice. My migration was not because of compulsion. If I wanted to complete my PhD or if I wanted to do my PhD or do a good job, it was 100% possible in Dehradun. It's a beautiful small town. It is no more small, but it's a beautiful town. So my migration was, by choice. And if you see this large number of people who become our plumbers, electricians, support driver, house help, large number of people are migrating by compulsion because the 70% population of India, which is the equivalent to the population of large number of countries put together, is just a data for us. I don't know how many of us are really focusing on making sure that rural India survives, rural India grows, and the forced migration stops and the migration by compulsion must stop. Migration by choice is always a good thing. That's not a problem. Most of us, or many of us, must have migrated by choice to be the cities or our parents and have done pretty well. So this is just the context, and I'm talking about it because it's been 6 months of this entire stuff, whatever happened in this country, and most of us are forgetting. Most of us are thinking that it is a story of past. It happened. People have settled down. In nutshell, what we need to understand that years back, a lot of people migrated, and they kept migrating from the villages in compulsion. They struggled a lot here. Many of them settled down here. They made their life here. Then we forced them to go back, and we called it reverse migration. So they came here with a small, not even a backpack, a jhola. They made their whatever belongings and everything. Then you saw most of them walking back in a backpack or with a backpack. Right? You go back to the village where you have nothing, and because you have nothing, and in any case, years back you had migrated by compulsion, you're again forced to come back to the cities. You see the cycle? So for the last 20, 30 years, someone is just traveling, someone is just walking. And that person, while making, is actually making our life very comfortable. Because if that person remains in the village, he grows food for us. If that person comes to the city, he becomes a rickshawala, or a cycle repair shop, or a car mechanic, or our support. And then the person is forced to go back to the village. If that person does not survive, will come back, will again serve us. So let's just understand the society in a much better way. And let's understand that uh, we are still struggling a lot as a country, as a huge country. And this entire pandemic and the displacement and the joblessness has again forced people to go back to the minus level from where somehow they started, and many of them came at least to the zero level. This is where we thought that every individual really needs to do much more, and every individual has a lot of power to do that because all the big initiatives in this world were always and always initiated by one individual, and then the other people really joined them. So all of you who are listening today are very powerful people, I mean, whosoever is able to survive in these 6 months is actually very privileged and very powerful person. I think it's a simple parameter as of now. Right? Now, let me just, because there were some people who also wanted to talk about, the story, what we are trying to do and how we are trying to do. And I call it a story of non-issues. And some of you must have heard that how Goonch started. It's about more than 2 decades back. Uh, and when I say a story of non-issues also, because years back we just, in nutshell, I just share it. Otherwise, whosoever want to go and understand in a much, you have to give me 1 minute because there's some emergency also which is happening at home. Fine, I'll tell you.
Of course. Scholars, I also wanted to inform all of you that we will have a round of Q&A at the end of the session. So if you have any questions, you can think of it and put it on chat box and send it to me, and we'll address them at the end of the session.
I'm sorry for this. I think just that some our COVID journey is just going on, because right now it's my wife who's going through the same journey. So I think there are some
I wish
officials.
her speedy recovery.
Yeah. I mean, it will happen. So I think there are some officials who want to come and all that. So anyway, so uh, so we were, when I moved from Dehradun, I was very this thing about the winters here, because winter slums and all that, and I had never seen that kind of slums or all other things, especially people asking for something on the red light and roads and all that. And in any case, in those days, Dehradun never had red lights that way, so that was also absolutely new to me. And winters became very complicated for me because I used to roam around on a scooter, and as a budding journalist and very keen on photography, so I used to spend a lot of time on the road. And I always used to see these people shivering, and I was comfortable because I had a jacket, couple of sweaters, and all that. Because when you come from a colder place, you come well equipped. So I was well equipped to do that, and that is where this journey started by. Meeting a family the family of Habib Bhai, who used to pick up the unclaimed abandoned dead bodies for the local police. Uh, and for every dead body, these people were really paid just about 20 rupees and 2 meter of white cloth. Now, who are these people who are dying? Large number of people whom you saw few months back who were walking, because those migrants were always here. Those migrants are here, constantly here. It's just that we didn't see them as migrant so far, right? So a lot of people used to die due to literally cold, due to various reasons, lack of attention, lack of medicines. And Habib Bhai used to get information, and then he used to pick up the dead body and bring it in the system. So I spent about a week with him, and much more time, but 1 week like absolute regular early morning, 6:30 in the winters with him until late night. And in that 1 week, I saw, I don't know how many dead bodies of all kind, right from accidents to suicides, and and then I saw the process. That was the first time I really understood a little bit of migration, a little bit of slums, little bit of life on the footpath. So two statements came up from Habib Bhai and his daughter. Some of you must have heard it. I'm just repeating it today. Habib Bhai said that कि साहब जाड़ों में मेरा धंधा बढ़ जाता है, कभी कभी इतना काम होता है कि संभलता नहीं, which means that my work in the winters goes up, and many times I have so much of work that I cannot handle it. And then I found that every 24 hours he was actually picking up 10 to 12 dead bodies in the range of 4 to 5 kilometers. And in the summers, the average used to be 4 to 5. Right? And for years, not months or days, I kept thinking that it is the cold, because of cold, people are killed. I mean, because that's why winters have much bigger or larger number of deaths. Then I don't know how this gyan happened, but somehow I realized that it is not the cold which is killing people. It is the lack of clothing which is killing people. Because if I survive on the road at a speed of 50-60 kilometers per hour and someone static dies, it is actually not the cold but the clothing. Because that's the additional thing which I have. And that was a realization that you do talk about three basic needs of humankind. You say roti, kapda, makan, but no one actually works on clothing. Clothing is not a development issue. You have 150 issues from domestic violence to global warming and now corona and COVID and displacement and poverty and suicide. Clothing has never been a subject, although when you talk about three basic needs, you say roti, kapda, makan. And the fact also remains that even, I'm not even talking about seminars, I'm talking about webinars. Even on this webinar, if all of us are visible to each other, we are visible to each other because each one of us is very close. It's such a basic need of humankind. So that is just grossly ignored. Second thing happened, which was very, very sad. And I don't want to repeat that, but that's the reality. And that's why I said that it's going to be a bit disturbing. This is a statement by their daughter, who is no more now. She died very young. Kanis Bano, who was 5-6 years little old girl, and as you know that these kids really grow much faster because they the way the atmosphere is. She actually said कि साहब कि जब मुझे ठंड लगती है तो मैं लाश के साथ चिपक कर सो जाती हूँ. She further says कि लाश तंग नहीं करती, लाश करवट नहीं बदलती. When I feel cold, I hug the dead body and sleep. It does not trouble me, it does not turn around. It was shocking and fine. It became a headline for my story because I used to write that time. And I also, because I am an urban educated person who was educated in good institutions, so I was very logical, fine. And my logics were that dead bodies are cold because I was not understanding the compulsion. I was not wearing the lenses of people who were saying something. I was looking with my own lenses, thinking, analyzing with my own set of whatever I had. So that particular incident and many more incidents, not such shocking, but related to clothing or poverty or whatever, I think just gave me a little bit of vision कि कपड़ा में कुछ issue है, that kapda is an issue. And then obviously went on to work with an ad agency, and the job journey started. 98 job, left my job, and that's where Goon was started. Just 3-4 lines I'll talk about Goon, and then we'll open up for the Q&A. I don't know how are you guys taking the Q&A, because I would like to really make it very interactive, because I need to talk about what you think in this case. And so now we deal with almost 6,000 tons of material. We are almost 1,000 people all across the country, plus large number of volunteers, well-wishers. A lot of people still think that when I talk about Goon is all about clothing. Yes, Goon talks about cloth, but Goon is also one of the largest rural development institution. Goon is also a totally different kind of economic development model, and now the climate change issues and all that. So what we're doing is that we collect this 6,000 tons or more material from the cities, from every single individual who has a lot, with the shift in the mindset, because we just said that whenever we give away our second-hand material, we should never call it donation. That's the wrong notion, right? That's again a little bit of arrogance somewhere, because suppose this kurta I've already used for maybe 2 years or say about 15 lectures, and then I give it to someone, is it really a donation, or I'm giving it because I'm discarding it because I don't need it? और कपड़े का तो बड़ी सिंपल सी कहानी है कि पहले मन से गया फिर तन से गया. And all of you will really agree with it. So suppose a t-shirt or a suit or a jeans, whatever you don't want to wear now, तो वो उस समय that's gone from the मन, right? Then you do not want to see that even in your wardrobe. You want to get rid of it. So you just want to physically discard it. So we said that, listen, let's be thankful to the people who are using our second-hand material, because they give it a new life. They give it a lot of respect and love. They value our emotions, because we were very emotionally attached with those material, whether these were nice shoes or our hanger or our table or our chair or our clothes, whatever. So let's respect people who are using the second-hand material. So this material is collected from retail chains, wastage, schools, colleges, individuals, and all that. It comes to the processing center of Goon, which are very scientific places, you can say, where we match the need of people. Because one of the biggest problem with the so-called donation mindset is that we give what we have, we do not give what people need. तो जैसे एक जोक मेरा बड़ा चलता है इसमें कि lot of people, India में there is this trend that if your house help says no for anything you are giving, just suppose, fine, the common statement in India is कि ये तो बिगड़ गए हैं, आजकल तो इनके भी दिमाग चढ़ गए हैं. That's how we start talking. So we always joke with people. We said that, listen, you must have given that maybe that red suit of yours, okay? And so obviously she's not taking because she hates red color. And she even used to hate when you used to wear it. So why should she really wear it just because now you want to give it after wearing 2 years for 2 years? क्योंकि वो आप अमीर हैं, आप गरीब हैं, जो भी है, आपका दिल दिमाग तो सेम है. Every single person on this earth has a right to dream, to have aspirations. Why not? We can make a joke of people who are wearing odd color ties, on the footpath when they are selling something. We can make a joke, but that might be their aspiration also. It might be wrong. If I wear violet color with yellow color, that's a fashion. But if that person loves that thing, that's a dream. Why not? So we match the needs of people. We convert it into hundreds of different, variety of kits and packaging. You should go to goon.org to see this. I'm not, saying much on this. And then it goes to the villages of India in a very neatly packed kind of thing. The only difference is that we do not do any charity with the most charitable subject object, which is your second-hand goods. Because what we said that charity kills your dignity, and without dignity, you cannot imagine development. And charity is always a beautiful subject for the doer of it. Charity is not something good for the receiver of it. Many of you who were a part of this journey after COVID, and you were on the roads with some NGO or directly yourself, you must have seen that how reluctant people were, but they were forced to take something. How they were trying to cover their face. How they were very uncomfortable when someone was clicking pictures while giving food or giving a sanitary pad to them. Because there's huge amount of dignity. I mean, something which I don't want to happen to me or my family or to my known people or my colleague. Why do I do that to someone else? So that's why this entire model called Dignity for Work, which used to be called Cloth for Work, came up. So now people take up their own initiatives. They make roads, they dig well, they clean ponds, they clean backwaters in Kerala. They make kharanjas or the safety walls in Uttarakhand. And after a few days of work, they receive this material with a lot of respect, with a lot of dignity. So there's a sense of achievement. There is no sense of entitlement. It is also the revival of barter economy with two new currencies, the urban discard and the rural wisdom and rural workforce. So this is how this entire model works. I think last year we made or repaired almost about 500 kilometers of road by using second-hand goods as an additional currency, which has always been treated as a charitable subject object. My last point, which is very relevant for each one of you, although when we talk about menstrual hygiene, we always say that it's not a women issue, it's a human issue, right? But I think a women can feel about it, women can do a lot about it, because that's something which is very closer to the women. And the man does not understand often subject. So 2004-5, when we were working on cloth and we were just trying to understand various aspects, a very simple question came up that what is this lady using in those 5 to 6 days, especially the large number of people who do not have enough to cover themselves. So you go on Google, type sanitary pad, sanitary napkin, and you do not find any major research, no problem statements, no solution. I'm just talking about 15 years back. So we started traveling, and I was in Firozabad next to Agra, met a family uh, where a lady narrated the story, which was the reality, that how one of her sister used a piece of blouse during menses, which had a hook, and she died of tetanus, which was absolutely unbelievable for a person who didn't even know the correct spelling of menstrual hygiene, who didn't know that menstruation is a subject, right? Because I also come from the middle class family, and when I was growing in middle class families, it was not possible to afford the sanitary pads, and the kind of remote places where we stayed because of my father's job, often though that pad was not even available. So mostly the kapda, the cloth was used even in my family. But I could never imagine that it can actually happen to this level. Now the subject is opened up. We were the first people to open it up, make it public, initiate public debates, create a pad out of waste cloth, and make it a tool to open up the subject. But do remember, each one of you, when we talk about the individual responsibility here, this is one area where each one of you can become a torchbearer. Because even today, millions is a very small word in India, but large number of many millions women or girls are using things like sand, ash, jute gunny bags, rugs, rags, newspaper, grass, sukha patta, anything and everything which can stop or absorb is used as a pad. Right? And you can imagine that if people do not have, especially in such kind of disasters, when people do not have a proper toilet, when people do not have enough to eat, when people do not have enough to wear, what are they doing about this? It's a monthly thing. When we call sometime a disaster, we say menses becomes a disaster because you do not have any access to anything. And these are the hidden non-issues of this country. And every single issue is an issue of volume. It's not happening in a small colony or a small mohalla or a small village. This is where each one of us can really do a lot. It's just that we must have a positive attitude, and we must understand that we all are very powerful people. And the pandemic, especially this particular disaster, must force us to think that we are the constant beneficiaries. I'm repeating it. And it's time to really not give back, but pay back. So I'll stop here. I can go on and on, but I think rest of it, if there are questions and comments, I think I'll really take it up.
Of course, of course, of course. Thank you so much, Anshu. And we do have actually questions coming in. And actually, I think maybe they can ask the question themselves. Sai, would you like to ask your question to Anshu?
Thank you, Shreya. Anshu, thank you so much for the session. So I was just wondering, with the FCRA amendments hindering the voluntary sector, how are the civil societies or the NGOs are coping with respect to this, because it is bound to impact the collaborative research on the grassroots level. So how are they coping with this?
So it's extremely sad the way the NGOs are treated in this country. I'm being very upfront on this. And it's very sad that a large number of rich foundations and all do not even react to such kind of things, right? I mean, NGOs somehow bring money, from the individuals, and individuals somehow give money from their pockets, and they cut on their expenses and then try to do everything, because most of us maybe cannot go to the villages, but we want to work in the villages. Most of us cannot go to the slums. Most of us do not know how to deal with the mentally challenged people, but there are NGOs who have expertise, and that's how we really work with them. So it's going to be complicated. It's going to be tough, and my sadness is not about the rules and regulations. I mean, those keep changing. Fine, it's not that earlier it didn't change, My sadness is that if we are not even valuing the contribution of the development sector and start talking such rot about them and such you use such wrong language about them, it is the people like Baba Amte and Ilaben and a large number of those people who it was very easy for many of them to become a corporate giant. If right from if from zero you can create institutions and do such meaningful job in the toughest possible terrains where no bank money was available, you were not able to run away with that money with what large number of business people are doing that. I mean, you've seen what Enron and Kingfishers, which used to be the case studies, for large number of management institution. I'm pretty sure you guys also must have read about some of these jokers who ran away, and who ran away with the money of the armed janta. So I don't know if last week you read this news that more than 8,000 crore rupees is due on the sugar mill owners of whom? Of that farmer who is giving you sugar, right? So NGOs have been a bridge in that, and in any case, resources are becoming an issue because as I said, that the large number of people are going deeper, in the problems because of the pandemic. So it is a golden chance to really stand with the voluntary sector and let people do, as much as we all can, right from the governments, the individuals, and all that. Every sector has some bad people. If today anyone is saying that all the governments are honest, all the bureaucrats are honest, all the sweet shop owners are honest, all the doctors are honest, we should not get into that hypothetical thought process. So it is a complicated one, and we are certainly worried about the grassroots institutions because we are still, we become the face of the good work, but there are a large number of people who are spending their life in reaching out to people, and they are the best possible delivery people, delivery of so many things, the schemes, the thoughts, the mindset to the grassroots and to the last people here.
Thank you, Anshu. And the next question is from Aarti. Aarti, would you like to repeat the question?
Yeah, thanks, Shreya. Anshu, very honestly, your journey as well as Gunj's journey is deeply, deeply reflecting and has given us a food of thought, really. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey as well as Gunj's journey. And I wish your wife a very speedy recovery. My question is around a report which mentioned that it was not merely lack of resources and loss of livelihoods that made these migrants go back to their natives, because where they were going is also a place which is even more scarce in resources as compared to the urban ones. And the argument was that people did not move back during demonetization. I obviously understand that the two challenges are different. So I think it was more because of the deficit of trust that you talked about. So we as privileged citizens, what can we do to handle this trust, and so that we handle this emotional aspect of our migrants and our donors of food, clothing, and shelter, as you mentioned?
Listen, I think there can be 100 arguments on this. How come I didn't start my journey on that day? Because I had a house, I had a secured job, I had some savings in the bank. Whole lot of us. When I say I represent almost all of you in this session. Okay? That is why I didn't start the journey. So you can imagine that someone has started journey to, that's what I said, to the unknown territory, and knowing very well that the life is going to be much more complicated there. So was it only a trust? It is 100% deficit of trust. There's no doubt about it. But the person also knew that tomorrow the person will not have enough to eat, and the house owner will come and ask for the rent. They didn't have trust on the people who were paying them. They didn't know that the salary will come, because in any case, large number of institutions do not pay on time, or the contractors and so many other people keep a part of that to make sure that these people remain in the cities. They have never paid 100% of their dues. So it's a mix of many things, the way all of us operate generally in our life. Is not because that time it's not that all of us misbehaved with people. Fine, none of us misbehaved with that. I mean, except some people जिन्होंने डंडे मारे में भी, fine, या जिन्होंने उन लोगों को रास्ते से नहीं गुजरने दिया. There were a lot of people, not only the administration but many other people also, created ruckus. But otherwise, most of the people were just standing with people and trying to do as best as possible. They were not worried that virus can hit them also. I think the goodness of people really came out that time. So we didn't do anything bad that particular time. I think it's a sum total of bad or mistrust we have been doing for years that resulted into this. And that is where it is extremely important कि हम उसको थोड़ा जड़ से ठीक करें. We look back and we reflect and say what went wrong. It's not that all of us are bad intentioned people. If it's not that all of us are corrupt people or we don't take care of our people. Not all of us are like that. But maybe somewhere our language is not good. Somewhere the kind of words we use, somewhere the way we treat our people is not good. So I think it's also very emotional part right now, that how each one of us really reflect on that and take like 2 days peaceful sitting and say क्या हुआ, क्या गलत हुआ हम लोगों से, इतना गलत है क्या हम लोग, इतने गंदे लोग हैं कि हमारा पड़ोसी हमसे चला गया, जो बंदा हमारा जो प्रेस वाला था, जो पिछले 10 साल से प्रेस कर रहा था, हमारी 10 साल से जिसने हमारे बच्चे को पाला, वो उठ के चली गई, क्या हुआ. तो ये तो ईच वन ऑफ अस विल हैव डिफरेंट आंसर्स, राइट. ऐसा हो सकता है आफ्टर गेटिंग 100-500 आंसर्स we might find some pattern in that which we know also a little bit, but each one of us really need to look back into ourselves कि एक सोसाइटी में कहीं फैब्रिक में तो प्रॉब्लम हो गई है. आई थिंक वी हैव टू हैव ए म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट एंड ट्रस्ट. दैट्स इट.
Yeah, it was exactly this that was mentioned, that you talked about, that they had the fear that no one is there to care about them, who will ask them when they fall sick and those things. Yeah, so thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Aarti. And thank you, Anshu, for that answer. I was just thinking that this pandemic is not the problem. It just revealed all the other problems that they were already existing in society at all times. And when you said that take 2 days off to just think about what happened, like that simple question, that what happened, I think it's very important for each of us to do that in personal capacity. Thank you for that answer. Ragini has a question on farm bills. Ragini, would you like to take that up now?
Yes. Hi, Anshu. Thank you for
Hi.
such a great session. So I wanted to talk about the current agitation on farm bills. What are your views on that, and how can we contribute in any way to the improvement of the situation? And adding on, as you mentioned that you were also interested in photography, so how a photographer can help towards this community by not doing like the donation pictures, but something else in a way?
Beautiful. So my views actually do not matter much, because it's extremely important to understand the farmers' views on this.
Yes, like I have the farmer's view. I belong from
Oh.
an agriculture university, but
Exactly.
how we can do like we are on the
and my only thing is that whenever such kind of things happen, whenever if farmers in such a risky atmosphere are forced or are there doing something, is extremely important that we all listen to them and see that if there is something which can be changed and which can make their life better, because at the end of the day farmers are the worst sufferer in the last so many decades, right? The same farmer, and as I say in all my sessions, the biggest proof of that is that farming we do not even consider a skilled profession. So someone who can really grow 10 different or 20 different variety of rajma or any dal, or say, as I'm repeating myself, but it's extremely important for all of us to understand कि वो they just add 2 columns of mangoes and create third variety of mango, right? and we call them unskilled, and then bring them to the city, make them plumber and start calling them skilled.
Right.
So again, I'm saying that these are fundamental shifts which the society need to understand. It's not about agitation and today and whatever. It's about how we are treating the food giver. Why is it not a good idea to really go back and understand why this farmer is committing suicide? Who commits suicide? And how come the farmer's suicide has become such a normal thing that it's not even a news? 15,000, 12,000 is a very scary number every year. And how many people really, record it in the data before or after committing suicide? So these are fundamental issues where we all need to really look back and see that what is happening wrong. And I'm saying that this virus has given us an opportunity to relook at the society with a different mindset. I'm not doubting on intentions of anyone. I'm saying all of us are good people, fine, and all of us have the best possible intention. But can we relook at it? What didn't work? So what is not working with the farmers? I think that's the most important part. Now, as a photographer, my if you can really do that, bring the happy pictures of the farmers, right?
Sure.
Is I find it very sad when you go, because Google is very selective reading, right? Google is a
Very,
very
very.
selective site. I don't know how many of us have ever searched with the title happy farmer.
Very true.
How many of us have ever searched skilled farmer? We will always put a distress kind of word before the farmer, or even say dirty villages, blah blah blah,
Slum
fine.
areas, yeah.
हाँ, slum areas and all. हमें अपना वो बाजू में गोलगप्पे वाले का आसपास का डर्ट नहीं दिखता है. गंदी नाली के पास में गोलगप्पे खाते हैं, and we remember the pani of golgappa. We don't remember the nali.
Right.
But so when you do the selective search on Google, you only find distress. So I'm saying that yes, there is distress. I'm saying fine, there is economic distress. I'm saying fine, there is distress because people are committing suicide. But can we also understand the rich culture?
Yeah.
Can we understand how best are the resource managers these people are? Can we understand their aspirations and say कि अपनी जमीनें बेच के बच्चों को कोटा लेके आते हैं पढ़ाने के लिए?
Yeah.
वो जो इतने सारे मशरूम हुए थे बीच में MBA institutions and most of them are closed, वो क्या थे? वो इन्हीं फार्मर्स को तो सक कर रहे थे ना, इनके एस्पिरेशंस को ही सक कर रहे थे, इनकी जमीनों को सक कर रहे थे.
Yeah.
तो there is so much of culture, there's so much. मुझे बड़ा गुस्सा आता है जब कोई there is a girl who does not have two eyes, right? Who's so-called blind, and then if she sings, and then people say, listen, what a beautiful thing a blind girl is singing.
Yes,
Are
it's
it?
a big thing for them.
Yeah, but I'm saying that eyes do not have to do anything with the singing. These are two different things. That person is a normal, beautiful human being.
Right.
That person has beautiful voice. So what if that person does not have eyes? So there is always a lot of good in everything.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about that? Can we also, as a photographer?
Yeah. Yeah.
So मैंने जो किया, what I did in my photography, of course, in the last 2 decades, I am covering more of disasters and more of distress. But one of my favorite thing used to be the portraits, and I just used to love the way the tribal women wear all kind of jewelry,
Yes. Yes.
and then their ear become like this. These are their beautiful traditions, right?
Yes.
They enjoy those. And maybe because of that music, that that feeling of community, they are able to survive in such tough conditions.
Hard times. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshu. Akanksha Ahuja, would you like to ask the question next? Yeah. Akanksha, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Anshu, my question is that I know you have been a journalist, and I also know that a lot of journalism and politics is conducted. it sort of is reduced to very mere numbers. One of the tactics in journalism is reducing it to numbers and data, right? So I want to ask how much of digital activism that we see these days, how much of it can actually bring empathy and representation to the forefront? And have you seen that actually coming, how that can has made a difference on ground?
My answer to that, Akansha, is that I think it is the saddest phase of journalism here in this country, right? At least when I was studying journalism, I remember there used to be a subject called ethics in journalism, right? So एक paper होता था. There used to be a paper on that, and none of us wanted to really read that. नहीं सर ये क्या हमको ethics सिखाएंगे टाइप होता है ना, in as a student you must have also experienced it many times. ये क्या सिखाएगा, ये क्या सिखाएंगे हमको, right? But then you end up reading that because you have to clear the exam. Right? And it had very simple things कि नाम मत बताओ किसी का, blood मत दिखाओ, don't show the dead body, don't talk in this language. Ethics वही था ना. Those are very very basic ethics. Ethics is what my mother taught me, or what my father taught me. Those were the ethics. बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें थी कि नमस्ते करो कर दो, चॉकलेट दोबारा मत मांगना, किसी के सामने ये मत करना. वो that is a value system. And see how distorted it is now. The very basics. तो जब आपके when the pillars are, I'm not saying shaken but broken in many cases, whatever is happening is large part of dirt. Digital did good for sure, and I was very happy. Like we all talk about democracy, democratization of things. We all want to say that everything should go to everyone. That's how we all feel. So I used to feel very happy, and I used to say, "Oh, this is like digitization means, or digital media means, literally the democratization of media." Then I realized कि नहीं भाई, journalism is an art, is a subject, is a science. It's foolish to think that each one of us can really become journalists. But what social media has done, each one of us is a journalist without even knowing the subject. I mean, I'm ashamed to see so many people on these, channels when they fight with each other. Obviously, they don't talk, and some of them are the subject of everything on this earth. And the larger experts are now sitting on Twitter and Facebook, where, much bigger than them. वो तो वहाँ फिर भी they're at least paid. These people are not even paid, right? But they're still big experts. No homework. A lot of people I call. You must have seen it. Some of the posts you do, and the like happens, and कि यार ये तो यदि ये बिजली की यदि इसमें स्पीड है, if the speed of light that person has, then only this person can really read it. Because I wrote 2 paras. It needs like 3 minutes. So how can you actually like it in half a minute? Because you are a professional liker. उसी तरीके से आप प्रोफेशनल कमेंटर हो, आपको कमेंट करना ही है, बोलना ही है. तो I say it's a good tool, and every single tool depends on the user. हथौड़े से आप तोड़ भी सकते हो और जोड़ भी सकते हो. हथौड़ा इज अ टूल. तो वो सब कुछ यूजर पे डिपेंड करता है. It's extremely important that 100 of you, and I don't know how many of you are attending this today, if at least all of you start using it in a nice way, it will also motivate 10 more people, each one of you. When I say individual responsibility, तो सोसाइटी के फैब्रिक को बिल्ड करने में वो यही है कि एटलीस्ट हम लोग ये कहें कि चलिए ठीक है, एटलीस्ट वी विल हैव अ बैलेंस्ड व्यू. एंड if we are not balanced about it, if we are in doubt with ourselves, at least we will not promote that. We will not forward that. If 100 people stop that germ somewhere, a lot good will happen. And if 100 of you motivate 100 more, and to motivate 100 more, you will have to speak to 500 people, and 300 will snub you. 100 will say all kind of bad things to you, and 100 will say ki yaar haan, Akansha makes sense. If she's only saying कि क्रैप को फॉरवर्ड मत करो, बाकी तो कुछ नहीं मांग रही है वो. She's such a nice nephew of mine or niece of mine. सुन लेता हूँ, सिर्फ फॉरवर्ड नहीं करूँगा. तो we all will have to, do that correction part somewhere. It's a beautiful tool. It's so beautiful to see the skill of average, so-called average human being, and the creativity of the so-called average human being, जो कभी एक्सप्रेस ही नहीं हो पाती यदि हम क्लासरूम्स तक लिमिटेड रहते.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
that.
So we are a little short on time, so maybe we can take, I think 1 or 2 questions, Anshu, if that's fine.
Sure.
Okay. So Shrija, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, hi Anshu, thank you so much for the time and the conversation today. I do not have any question. I wanted to share something. So with the conversation earlier, it reminded me of the time when I spent in Baikula prison as a student social worker, and there I realized the issue of clothing that the under trial women prisoners face. It has such an extreme impact on their mental health, because I knew women who would wrap themselves with bed sheets when they would wash their clothes and wait for it to dry. So it's really important that we talk about clothing, and I could really link with it, because when we look in the media, we have this picture of a prisoner and the special prisoner clothes that are there, which is actually not the real scenario.
आप ये सोचो ना कि all of us must have faced a lot of interviews in our life, or अभी कर रहे होंगे, right from education to maybe later on the media and all that. And I always again, a lot of things I'm just repeating, and I always say कि there are only 2 things you are worried about. One is the content and the second is the cloth. And on the day of interview, more than the content, you are worried about the cloth. What you are wearing is more important than what you are going to say and what the person is going to ask. और ये सच बात है कि मैं तो अभी वेबिनार में हूँ, मेरा सिर्फ इतना पोर्शन नजर आ रहा है. But if I have a spot of anything here, I cannot talk with the same confidence. तो मैं लोगों से पूछता हूँ कि भाई, if there is a spot on my t-shirt or kurta, that entirely spoils my confidence. What about the people who do not have anything to wear? Foolish are those people who say that the women are not wearing blouse because there is a tradition. Foolish are those people. Absolute foolish. What is tradition? Tradition is something which you keep practicing. And do you always practice things by choice, or you also practice things by compulsion? So when you have 2 blouses in the family and you have 3 women, first thing they will say, okay, widow will not get it, so that 2 other will get it. Then you will say the Budi Ma will not get it, so that 2 other get it. And then with time, it becomes a tradition. I mean, that lady also needs something to cover. And I'm saying that if it is a tradition, and I agree that it's a tradition, because in some cases it might be a tradition, but then in winters you need to cover yourself. Because I also feel cold, you also feel cold.
Yeah. Thank you, Anshu. Actually, Anshu, the entire class has requested for one particular question to be asked, and Manaswita, you can read your question here now. Actually, I will just read her question. I think she has a poor network connection. So Manaswita is saying that before joining Vedika, she worked with a non-profit based out of Dehradun, and she personally spearheaded a COVID-19 fundraising campaign during the time there. However, her takeaway was that most non-profits are still relying on CSR funding fundraisers, and due to the current situation, the CSR funding renewal got cancelled. So is there perhaps a more sustainable funding growth model for the development sector?
So it's a wrong notion that people depend on CSR funds. CSR is a very, very new act in India. So that's what I'm saying, that there are a lot of wrong narratives and notions about the development sector, right? In Baba Amte's time, there was nothing like CSR. Every single big movement in this country has happened with the support of individuals and support of average individuals. It is all these HNIs and all are new words. Ask your father and mom and ask them that if they have ever heard of HNIs who used to give money. इस देश के जितने मूवमेंट हुए हैं वो हुए हैं जब हर एक इस देश के किसान ने 10 रुपया या 1 रुपया और एक मुट्ठी अनाज दिया है. And even today, most of the development work ultimately happens with the money of individuals and average individuals. Even if you see COVID, if you see large number of other things, lot of corporates have given money, but a lot of corporates have also taken credit of the money given by their employees. Right? When 5,000 employees of a corporate give money, ultimately the name of the corporate comes in the data, not those 5,000 individuals like me and you. So I 100% fine. I mean, obviously CSR money is important, and because of this act, it's not that the entire CSR money is gone, right? Because within India, CSR money is still absolutely possible. It is only maybe some of the banks which have large number of them, which have a foreign stake, that their money is considered foreign money, despite being in India. But still Indian companies must do, and they must do better, because they also need to pay back. Many of them certainly need to pay back. And then there are individuals like me and you who should understand that before sustenance, survival is important. And a large number of people are looking for survival right now. If I keep a huge amount of, or whatever, and huge amount can be different for each one of us, fine, because these are perceptions and realities, whatever. If we keep holding that, whatever, whether money or material with us, despite knowing that we only need 4 t-shirts to survive, and in the webinar, a pajama and a t-shirt is also good. You should look good. You know, we all have understood the reality of life. कि हमको चाहिए कितना. We are so sick and tired of large number of utensils in our kitchen, because 2-3 महीने हम लोगों को सबको धोने पड़े. We don't want that material, right? Similarly, we all know कि कितना पैसा चाहिए हमको भाई. At the end of the day, a large part of your money or our money we actually spend in changing things. So do I really need to change my dining table again and again? Or I can just put aside the dining table money and work with this society. तो मैं लोगों से ये कह रहा हूँ कि 1 साल है हम लोगों के पास में. We all have about a year with each one of us to make sure that more and more people survive. And ये ध्यान रखिएगा, एक चीज बोलूँगा मैं और हिंदी में बोलूँगा, I can translate it. और मैं मेरी एक फ्रेंड ने मुझे फ़ोन किया था, after I went through COVID for almost 26 days. And it was a bit complicated because उसके फिर बाद के after effect. तो obviously I didn't make it public, and मेरा ये था कि जब मैं ठीक हो जाऊँगा, then I'll make it public, not before that. But obviously through some people, the news is spread, because हम लोग सब public life में हैं, दोस्त हैं बहुत सारे, तो news spread होती है. तो एक फ्रेंड का बहुत गुस्से में फोन आया कि अरे क्या बकवास है, और तेरे साथ ये हो गया और तूने बताया भी नहीं एंड ऑल दैट. तो मैंने कहा भाई एक बात बता, यदि मैं बता के क्या करता, मतलब यदि नॉर्मल बीमारी होती तो तुम मौसमी लेके आ जाती, इसमें तो तुम वो भी नहीं कर सकती, तो तुमको बता के क्या करूँगा. मैंने कहा लेकिन मुझे, मेरे परिवार को और मेरे सारे वेल विशर्स को, मेरी बहुत बड़ी टीम को, सबको इस बात पे भरोसा था कि इन एनी केस इस बीमारी की अभी दवा नहीं बनी है, लेकिन दुआओं में बहुत दम है. फाइन, देयर इज नो मेडिसिन फॉर दिस ना एज ऑफ नाउ, एक्सपेरिमेंटल चल रहे हैं सब, बट देयर आर ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ पीपल. एंड इन दिस लाइफ इफ वी कैन अर्न blessings, if we can earn duas from people, those are much more helpful than buying the i10, i8, i9, i9. I don't even know abhi कौन सा मॉडल आया हुआ है मार्केट में। तो मुझे लगता है उन सबसे बेहतर है कि दुआओं पे काम करो। बहुत काम आती हैं दुआएं, बड़ी मतलब मैं तो जानता हूँ, मैंने खुद देखा है कि कितने मंदिर मस्जिदों में लोगों ने मन्नत मांग ली। मुझे बाद में पता लगा कितने लोगों ने ये कहा कि यहाँ से जाने के बाद हम वहाँ जाएंगे, यदि अंशु को ठीक कर दो ये वहाँ चला जाएगा। और मैं एक बहुत ऑर्डिनरी इंसान हूँ। लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल इन द रूरल इंडिया डोंट इवन नो मी। आप लोग तो सिटी में चलिए जानते हैं, रूरल इंडिया में तो कोई मुझे जानता भी नहीं है, वहाँ तो लोकल टीम जानते हैं सब लोग, वो लोग फेस हैं, मैं तो फेस भी नहीं हुआ। बट तब भी सोचिए कितनी अनजानी जगहों से दुआएं आई होंगी। या जब मुझे याद है जब मैक्सेस से मिला था, तो लोगों को पता भी नहीं है इस देश के गांव में, क्या पता मैक्सेस से क्या होता है, और देश के शहरों में नहीं पता। बट आई सॉ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग स्वीट्स एंड फीलिंग हैप्पी अबाउट इट। एंड व्हाट डू यू नीड इन दिस लाइफ, बताइए। मैं सोचता हूँ मैं और क्या कमा लेता। मतलब मैंने एस्कॉर्ट्स छोड़ा, मीनाक्षी ने, माय वाइफ, शी लेफ्ट बीबीसी, बोथ ऑफ अस कम फ्रॉम आईएमसी, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मास कम्युनिकेशन। अच्छे खुशी करियर थे, सो कॉल्ड खुशी करियर थे। हमने भाई चॉइस छोड़ा है, सब कुछ है ऊपर वाले की कृपा से। और मैं लोगों से मजे लेता हूँ। मैंने कहा भाई तुम पड़ोसी के घर पे जाके नॉक करते हो, बोले मेरी सुन ले, वो नहीं सुनता, और मेरे आप पिछले 1 घंटे से सुन रहे हो, तो मैं तो बड़ा ब्लेस्ड हूँ ना। आई एम वेरी ब्लेस्ड पर्सन। तो इट्स द टाइम टू रियली पे बैक, गिव बैक, वॉट एवर वे। बट जो जिंदगी में आपने कभी सोचा है या जो किया है, उसका 10x 100x करने का मौका है। बस मैं और कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा। मतलब जो भी जिसको अच्छा लगे, जिस भी इंस्टीट्यूशन के थ्रू अच्छा लगे, बट डायरेक्ट पहुंच जाए इंसान के पास में, बस इस बात को इंश्योर कर लो। बट जो भी आज तक सोचा है करने का या किया है, उसको 10x 100x, जो जिसकी मतलब जितनी औकात, वर्ड भी मैंने यूज नहीं करता, बिकॉज औकात तो हम लोगों की बहुत है सबकी, हमें खुद को ही नहीं एहसास है कि कितनी औकात है हमारी। you know none of us really know our potential because we have never tested that. So I am saying that don't use your potential, just exploit that potential and do as much as you can with whosoever you want. गूंज का तो जो आपको करना है goonj.org पे चले जाइए, श्रेया आपको डिटेल्स भेज देंगे। बट गूंज इज जस्ट वन स्मॉल टाइनी इंस्टीट्यूशन, देयर आर हंड्रेड्स ऑफ अदर ब्यूटीफुल very nice institutions, grassroots institutions, big institutions who are doing a wonderful, commendable job. Just stand with any one of them, but do good. This is the time to do good and literally earn blessings. So don't do good to earn blessings, but वो मिल जाती है आपको, बिना मांगे मिल जाती है।
थैंक यू अंशु। बहुत दिन बाद मन्नत और ब्लेसिंग्स की बात हुई एक्चुअली, and didn't realize कि actually इतने दिन बाद I'm listening to this, and I think a lot of us are also talking about prayers. And thank you. Actually, I've been reading all the comments and a lot of questions, and I think Shruti and Manshika, Arshia, a lot of other people also have messaged asking this question that actually you answered also right now, that how to stay positive right now. Like it's so difficult right now to witness everything that's happening around us. And also I'm also realizing, reading the questions, about that the perspective we have about the development sector is very one-sided. We don't understand how it's working, and we do want to know. We do have this thirst, but what would be the credible platform? How do we approach this?
अरे साथ में बैठ के बात कीजिए, लोगों के साथ में काम कीजिए। It's very easy to sit a kilometer away and throw stones. तो किसी पे भी डाल दीजिए, किसी पे भी मार दीजिए। तो आज यदि हम मीडिया के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, तो दैट डज नॉट मीन कि मीडिया में अच्छे लोग नहीं हैं। सारे लोग हैं। आज मेडिकल प्रोफेशन इतना करप्ट हो चुका है, इतना मैसिवली करप्ट हो चुका है, बट दैट डज नॉट मीन दैट वी डू नॉट हैव गुड डॉक्टर्स। यदि सोसाइटी सर्वाइव कर रही है तो बहुत सारे अच्छे और ईमानदार डॉक्टर्स की वजह से कर रही है, उन बेईमानों की वजह से नहीं कर रही। बेईमानों की वजह से कोई जिंदा रह जाता है, बट फिर वो जिंदगी भर उधार में डूबा रहता है। बट देन देयर आर ईमानदार डॉक्टर्स ऑल्सो जो किसी के यूरिन टेस्ट में से कमीशन नहीं खाते, एंड देयर आर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ देम। सो बी जस्ट विद द पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट। और वैसे भी देखिए, एक बात सुनिए, मैं ये कई फोरम में बोलता हूँ, तो आई एम जस्ट सेइंग इट। अब मैं औकात वर्ड का यूज कर रहा हूँ, एंड आई एम सेइंग कि हमारी कितनी औकात है भाई। महीने की कितनी औकात है? 1,000 रुपए, 2,000 रुपए, 10,000 रुपए, 20,000 रुपए, कितनी औकात है? 2 घंटे, 4 घंटे, 8 घंटे का काम, 20 घंटे का काम, 50 घंटे का काम एक महीने में, यही औकात है ना? वेदर वी टॉक अबाउट मटेरियल, टाइम, मनी, व्हाटएवर से, हाउ मेनी इंस्टीट्यूशन डू वी नीड? 10,000 रुपए देने के लिए कितने इंस्टीट्यूशन चाहिए? और क्या हम आज ये कह रहे हैं कि हमारे पास एक भी इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं है जिसके साथ हम बैठ के काम कर सके? तो लॉजिक इन दिस कंट्री often is for not doing something. Doers never look for a logic. वो अपना रास्ता निकाल लेते हैं और ढूंढ लेते हैं। और दूसरी बात यह है कि जब आपको कोई टेलीकॉम कंपनी इतनी बुरी तरीके से ठग सकती है, जो ठगते हैं बहुत बार, आपसे इतनी चीज़ों का लोगों ने सिक्योरिटी ली भी है, आपके टेलीफोन की और उसकी, आज तक किसी ने लौटाई नहीं? लौटाई? आपने तो कुछ नहीं बोला। जो मर्जी आपको अभी ई कॉमर्स की कंपनीज कुछ अच्छा सामान देते हैं, कुछ लोकली मेड देते हैं, आपको पता है क्या आ रहा है? आप जो मर्जी पैसा दे रहे हो ना उनको, नहीं दे रहे हो। तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि भाई अच्छा करने निकले हो, 10% गलत जगह चला जाएगा, 10% किसी अनवांटेड बंदे को चले जाएगा, तो क्या उसकी वजह से 90% रोक दें और भी फोकस ऑन द 90% एंड से 10% तो वेस्टेज होती है ना? अरे इतने बढ़िया घरों में हम लोग, मैं भी अच्छी बना लेता हूँ, हम चाय बनाने वाले लोग हैं, कभी ऐसा हुआ है क्या कि हमारी चाय भगोने से बाहर ना निकली हो? ऐसा हुआ? कभी ऐसा हुआ कि हमारा पुलाव बिना पानी का बन गया? हमेशा छोड़ ही देते हैं हम कई बार पानी इसमें। देयर इज ऑलवेज समथिंग बैड व्हिच विल हैपन इन लाइफ, राइट? शैल आई रियली कम हियर एंड से 100% of every single thing we are giving is going to the absolute right person? Who is the right person? How do you decide on the right person? वो बंदा जो लाइन में लगा है, जो सड़क बना रहा है एक पुराने कपड़े के लिए, वो यदि कोई ढंग के कपड़े पहना हुआ है तो आपको लग रहा है कि वो राइट पर्सन नहीं है? अरे एक ही कपड़ा है उसके बाद भैया, वो रात को धोता है, सुबह पहनता है, क्योंकि उसकी डिग्निटी बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। और हम लोग उन परिवारों से निकले हैं जहाँ पे हमारी निक्कर यदि रात को नहीं धुलेगी तो अगले दिन स्कूल नहीं जा सकते थे हम लोग। मैनी ऑफ अस, यदि आप लोग नहीं होंगे तो आपके पेरेंट्स हुए होंगे बहुत सारे। आज हम में से बहुत सारे लोग मजे ले रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द स्ट्रगल ऑफ अवर पेरेंट्स, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ अवर स्ट्रगल। और ये बात मैं साफ बोलता हूँ कि देखो, एक बात ध्यान रखना कि आपके जो पेरेंट्स हैं उनकी जो स्ट्रगल थी, दैट वाज अ स्ट्रगल टू सर्वाइव। दैट हैज बीन द स्ट्रगल कि आप अच्छा पढ़ लिख जाएं, सब कुछ कर जाएं। आपकी, मेरी डॉटर की, हम सब लोगों की जो स्ट्रगल है, दैट इज अ स्ट्रगल टू ग्रो। हमारी सर्वाइवल की स्ट्रगल नहीं है। जो 6 महीने घर में बैठ सकता है बिना काम धंधा किए और जो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस कर सकता है, उसकी स्ट्रगल टू सर्वाइव नहीं है, उसकी स्ट्रगल टू ग्रो है। और ग्रोथ तब तक नहीं हो गई जब तक आपको समझना चाहिए कि इफ द नेशन, द मोहल्ला, द कॉलोनी, द पीपल ऑफ द नेशन do not grow and we grow, do we still call it growth? और एक और लास्ट पॉइंट है मेरा, सेफ जगह, सबसे सेफ जगह क्या है? बोलिए, which is the safest place in your life? Anyone?
घर
है ना, most of us say घर। How many of us can leave our 10 to 12 years old daughter, in my case, and sibling in your case, alone at home? You see? Did you get an answer?
Not.
तो जिस घर के लिए हम अपनी पढ़ाइयाँ कर रहे हैं, कमा रहे हैं, और उसके बाद हम थोड़े दिनों के बाद HDFC, सिटी बैंक के एम्प्लॉय बन जाते हैं क्योंकि हम इंस्टॉलमेंट के लिए कमाने लगते हैं, फॉर वॉट एवर वी टेक। उस घर के अंदर इफ माई डॉटर इज नॉट सेफ और अवर सिबलिंग्स आर नॉट सेफ, देयर इज समथिंग फंडामेंटली गॉन रॉन्ग। मैं बहुत अच्छी तरह जानता हूँ एक बहुत बड़ी फैमिली का मुखिया होने के नाते, जिसमें ऑलमोस्ट 80-90% वुमेन है और लड़कियां हैं, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट गूंज टुडे, एंड एज द फादर ऑफ अ डॉटर एंड एज ब्रदर, हस्बैंड, व्हाटएवर, कि आप लोग जब अपने कान में ईयर प्लग लगा के सड़क पे निकलते हैं तो आप इसलिए नहीं लगाते कि आपको म्यूजिक का शौक है, आप इसलिए लगाते हैं क्योंकि आप गंध सुनना नहीं चाहते। और यदि आज भी हम लोगों का खून हाथरस पे नहीं खौलता, वो जो कश्मीर में हुआ था छोटी सी बच्ची के साथ रेप, उसमें नहीं खौलता, यदि आज भी हमको लगता है कि तेलंगाना में उन 4 लोगों को, 2 लोगों को, जितने भी लोग थे उनको पकड़ के मार देना जस्टिस है, तो समथिंग फंडामेंटली रॉन्ग। वो प्रॉब्लम्स हमसे दूर नहीं है। यदि मैं अपने घर के अंदर सेफ नहीं हूं तो प्रॉब्लम मुझसे दूर कहाँ रही? तो बैठिए मत घरों के अंदर, सोचते मत रहिए, फेसबुक पे नहीं होने क्या चीजें सॉल्व। we have to really take some actions.
Yeah.
It's very simple, and each one of us has to take action. And I am saying, I do not believe action against something. I always believe in action for something. Let's build up a positive society. Let's create dialogues. Let's talk to people. कैसे कोई एमपी, कोई एमएलए, कोई हमारे से चुना हुआ इंसान बोल देता है कि लड़की कपड़े ऐसे पहन रही है, लड़की ने ये किया, लड़की ने वो किया? क्या हमारे चारों ओर ही है ना सब लोग? हाउ डू वी रियली बिल्ड ए बेटर सोसाइटी? एंड इट्स अ ह्यूज जॉब, इट्स अ ह्यूमंगस टास्क, बट it cannot be done by few individuals. It needs to be done by all of us put together.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anshu, for the entire session. I'm reading the comments. I think scholars are saying the same thing, and we're extremely glad that you came and discussed and shared these insights and stories with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, and this country for some time does not need thinkers anymore. It needs doers.
Yeah.
It needs action. Fine.
Definitely.
I think that's more. तो ये सेशन सिर्फ ऐसा ना रह जाए कि कुछ अच्छा सुन लिया, अच्छा या बुरा, जिसको जो लगा होगा, I don't know.
Yeah.
कि वो सुन लिया, तालियां बजाई, चले गए. No. The life will not change. Thank you. Stay blessed.
Thank you, Anshu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, callers. I'll see you next week, and hope we come to us soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshu.
Thank you, Anshu.
Thank you so
Shreya.
much.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Shreya,
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
we have Anshu's Nidhi here? Can we have Anshu's email ID or something? Hello?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Nidhi.
Comfortable with that, Shreya. Even I would want to.
Can we have
will have
Anshu's...
to check in. Yeah. Okay. So I will have to check in that with Anshu's team, and I will ask. I'll connect and ask and let you guys know about it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank
you, Shreya.
Most welcome. But I think you can definitely mail to Goonj official email ID. They are quite responsive, and the entire team. I mean, you can talk to anyone anytime, and that's something I would recommend also. Do that.
Alright.
Talk to the team members also, because they also have the same insights, because same company, same organization. That's a lot.
Yeah, good suggestion. Thank you, Shreya.
Welcome. See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye. Thank you.